All right, number corner today is a problem string. So I need you to get out your number corner book. You're opening it to the problem string workspace in that middle back part of your number corner book and looking for page A10. You're going to add the date and be ready to get started. The situation that we're using today for problem strings is about fruit snacks. And if you think of those big bags of fruit snacks, we're going to be looking at those. And we know that if you were to open it and count out all those fruit snacks, there'd be 22 in each of those bigger bags. So that's kind of that context that we're going to be working with. We're going to be using a ratio table, and the ratio table Mrs. Ellison is using is a vertical one. So you can choose to draw your ratio table like mine, which would be up and down vertical, or if you're more comfortable with it horizontal, that's okay too. So go ahead and make a ratio table in your number corner book on that page A10. On the left side, I'm labeling it packages, and on the right side, I'm labeling it fruit snacks. All right, so you can see my packages on the left-hand side here, my fruit snacks on the right, that line down the middle. When I think about our first problem, it's asking us how many fruit snacks are in 2 packages. So in order to add that to my ratio table, I know that I'm going to want to start with the fact that I know that I have 1 package and 22 fruit snacks, right? That's the information that I was given as we got started. So I'm going to go put ahead and put 1 there. All right, so I fixed up my mistake there. 1 package is 22 fruit snacks. So our job is to figure out how many are in 2 packages. So go ahead and figure that out. As you worked on that, hopefully you were able to see that, hey, I'm going to double the number of fruit snacks I had. 1 package is 22. So if I have 2 packages, 22 and 22 all together, I have 44. All right. Adding that to your table, let's move on to the next one. How many fruit snacks are in 4 packages? As you're thinking about that, think about maybe the pattern you're noticing on our ratio table here. Your answer should have been 88, and you might have gotten that by thinking of 1 package is 22, 2 packages as another 22, 4 packages have 4 of those, and I end up with 88. Maybe you also noticed that if I go from 1 package to 2 packages, it is doubled. When I go from 2 to 4, it is also doubled. So if the number of packages are doubling, so are the total number of fruit snacks. And you can see here how Mrs. Ellison might have notated that on our ratio table to help us keep that in our mind as we continue to work. All right, we are ready for our next problem. How many fruit snacks, you guessed it, are in 8 packages? So go ahead and figure that out. 8 packages have how many fruit snacks? Maybe you're noticing that our pattern is continuing. So if I have doubled and gone from 4 packages to 8 packages, so are the total number of fruit snacks. When I double 88, I know that 8 doubled is 16. So 80 doubled is 160. So altogether I have 178 176 fruit snacks, because again, I have doubled the total that I have. All right, let's try this next one. I'm kind of thinking it's going to be 16. I wonder if you're thinking that same thing. Let's find out. Ooh, it's not. It's a little bit different. How many fruit snacks are in 10 packages? So I know that my doubling isn't quite going to cut it. So I want to think of another way. How could I figure out how many are in 10 packages? What am I going to do instead? All right, figure that out. All right, so as I figure out 10 packages, there's a couple of ways that I could work on this. I could say that, hey, I know from 1 to 10, that's 10 times as much. We've been working on multiplying numbers by 10, haven't we? So if I multiply 22 by 10, that decimal point moves over a place value. So instead of in the tens place, I'm in the hundreds place. So hey, yeah, if you got 220 for your answer, yeah, you did it. You got it right. And then if I wasn't sure about multiplying by 10, I have other strategies as well, right? So again, I could have multiplied by 10, but you might have also noticed that 2 packages and 8 packages, if I put those together, I have 10 packages. So I could say 2 plus 8 is 10. So I could also then take the total number of fruit snacks in 2 packages, add that to the total in 8, and get my answer of 220 that way. 4 and 6 is 10. I have a 10 left over, so now I have 8 and 4, so that's 12. Okay, that's 100 plus that 100 is 220. So again, a couple different ways you could have gotten to your answer. All right, let's go ahead and try the next one. Our next one says, how many fruit snacks are in 9 packages? All right, so go ahead and figure that one out. 9 packages. All right, getting to 9 packages, you might say, hey, I know what 10 packages are and I know what 1 package is. So I can take 10 minus 1 package, that'll give me 9. So 220 minus 22 will give me the number of fruit snacks in 9 packages. I could also say, hey, I know how many are in 1 package. I know how many are in 8 packages. Well, 1 and 8 makes that 9 packages I'm looking for. So I can add my 22 and my 176. So a couple different ways that I could think about finding 9 packages. So I have a total of 98 fruit snacks. Yeah, 198. Cool. All right. Moving on, our next problem. Instead of 9 packages, we want to know how many are in 12 packages. Okay, so thinking of some different strategies of how you're going to get to that number 12. Go ahead, write that down and solve. All right, those 12 packages. Hey, I know how many are in 10 and 2. Together that's 12, so I can add 44 plus 220. And I could have also added my 4 packages and 8 packages to get my 12 packages. So a couple different strategies on how I could figure that out. But again, my total number of packages was 264. So filling that in and ready to move on to the next one. All right. How many fruit snacks are in 100 packages? 100 packages. Wow, that would give you a complete belly ache. But maybe you went to a warehouse store, maybe Costco or Sam's Club, and got a big box of fruit snacks that had 100 packages each. Each package had those 22. How many total fruit snacks do you have? All right. What I think of 100 packages, hey, I know that if I have 10 packages, I have times 10 to get to 100. So I can take my 220 times 10 to figure out how many fruit snacks. I also could go from 1 package to 100. Hey, that's 100 times more. So 22 times 100, either way I do the math, I'm moving over that place value one and end up with 2,200 fruit snacks. Like I said, oh man, that's a lot of fruit snacks. Kind of makes me kind of have a bellyache just thinking about that, right? All right, so looking at our last 2 problems. Next one, 99 packages. All right, I know how much is in 100. How many are in 99? Go ahead and solve for 99. As you solve for 99, there's a couple different ways you could have thought about this. Again, started with those 100 fruit snacks packages and said, hey, if I get rid of 1, so 100 minus 1 would get me to my 99. So 2,200 minus 22 would get me my answer. Maybe you wanted to think about, well, hey, I want to add in and find out what would 90 packages be. So I know what 9 is. If I multiply by 10, Ooh, I'm going to move over that place value 10 times as much. I would have 1,980 plus 198. That would be another way that I could figure it out. So hopefully you chose a strategy like that to help you. You could have also taken 99 and multiplied it by 22. Lots of different ways and strategies to solve. So hopefully you came up with the answer. 2,178. All right, our last problem kind of changes how we are thinking about it a little bit. And when I read it, it says, if I have 110 fruit snacks. So before, our number was about how many packages it was. And this time it's not about how many packages, it's telling me how many fruit snacks I have. And I want to know how many packages that would equal. So instead of finding the total number of fruit snacks, I'm finding the total number of packages. So when I think about my ratio table and I look up here, packages, this is what I'm trying to solve for. I know how many fruit snacks that is. So on my ratio table, I'm writing 110 over here on this side. And I want to figure out what belongs on this side. How many packages are that? Ooh, so if I'm thinking about my expression, it's kind of changing it up a little bit, isn't it? It's 110 divided by 22, right? There's 22 in each package. How many packages do I have? Where before, we were doing all multiplication, 99 times 22. So thinking about that and also going back and looking at the ratio table you have written down here and say, well, where would 110 fruit snacks fall in here? And how might that help me figure out and work my way back to the packages? So solving for how many packages would it take to have 110 fruit snacks? All right. As you were working on that, hopefully when you looked back at your ratio table, you noticed that 110 would fall somewhere between 4 and 8, right? So it's more than 88, but less than 176. So I know it's going to be somewhere between 4 and 8 packages. So I kind of know what would a reasonable answer be. I'm left kind of figuring out, looking at these numbers and figuring out, well, what would make sense? How would I get 110? So a couple things that I noticed off the bat was here I have 22 and 88. If I'm looking for something that adds to 10, hey, 2 and 8 add to 10. So I'm kind of looking at those two as a good possibility. If I keep with that, and I add my 20 and 80, I get 100. I had 10 from before, so 100 and 110. Sorry, 110 is 110, what I was looking for. Hey, that was one package and 4 packages. I also, when I thought of 110, noticed my 220 sitting here because 22 in 11, I know that 11 is half of 22. So if I were to cut 220 in half, I'd have 110. So if I had half as many packages, I'd have 5 packages. I'd have half as many fruit snacks. I'd have 110. So hopefully you were able to figure out 5 as your answer. All right. Great job working with Number Corner today. When I think about the patterns that we're noticing and seeing with our ratio tables, hey, we're using what we know about other packages to figure out those totals, right? So that ratio table can really help you figure things out and work it through.